Peasant Productions presents The Mathematics of ESP, Why It Works, Even If You Don't Believe in It. Gonna pull something out of my own past here. For the fun of it, I guess is the easy way to put it. It's rather amusing, kind of an amusing story. This one year, let's see, what year would that have been? That was probably 81. My so-called dad gave me a watch, and it wasn't so much that it came from him or anything along that line. I mean, I don't like the guy very well to begin with. He was never a bright spot in my life. I don't like watches per se. I don't wear them. I just never have. And early on, I took a love of pocket watches. And actually, he has given me one or two of those. Matter of fact, I think I've still got one. And it's a wind-up one of all things, too. Yes. It's an actual, for real, old-fashioned pocket watch. But anyway, there was this watch he gave me, and he gave it to me as a Christmas present, and we were on our way to go to other family. And he says, "Oh, here, why don't you go ahead and open up one of your packages now?" And he hands me this one, and I look at it, and I'm sorry, I just immediately, the second it hit my hand, I knew it was a watch. I knew I wasn't going to like it. It was going to annoy the heck out of me, type of a thing. It was kind of funny. I forget exactly what it was. It was one of those, super multifunction type watches. It had all kinds of different doohickeys and stuff to it. And like I said, I don't like wearing a watch around me, but sticking them in my pocket was common. So even a watch like that, with that, I'll just stick it in my pocket. I won't wear it on my wrist. But it had a series of alarms, but it had an hour and a half hour toll that I never did figure out how to turn the damn thing off. But that's what led to it getting called the beeping watch. Is that several different people at different times took note of the fact that because we were people who would look for signs, took note of the fact that this watch, rather amusingly, had its one or two beeps worth of comment to put in. You'd be making a comment to somebody else, and it would be one of those things that you would think about putting into a positive sayings poster, or some kind of poster type of a thing, dire warnings or positive input, or inspirational, or however you want to look at it. But just as you get to the end of the comment, and before somebody else can kind of natural flow take it up and start going with it, there would be this beep or this two beep from the watch. And like I said, several different people took note of this, enough so that those people actually ended up crossing paths with each other. And yes, I carried the beeping watch, and everybody knew if that freaking watch beeped at the end of something you said, you damn well better stop and pay attention to what you just said. It got to be very amusing. But Raymond Sanchez, the guy that lived in South Lake Tahoe with me, and the guy who asked me the question about what was I going to do about Reagan threatening to shut down. That's an amusing thought to think about. The reason I got asked the question by Raymond, or the beginning of the International Space Station, was Raymond asking the question, what was I going to do about President Reagan shutting down NASA? I never went to go fact check that Reagan actually said he was going to shut down NASA. I simply found an answer 4 days later and wrote a letter. That letter became announced 4 months later. 3 days later, the letter was written in the mail. 4 months later, to 5 months later time period, President Reagan is announcing that idea to the world. Okay, we are now going to build an International Space Station. First unit going up is called Unity, to signify the unity of all the different nations coming together, working as one. But anyway, Reagan, I never went to go fact check that. I just went ahead and supplied an answer. So that's something else for you folks to think about. The one to deny that I created it. The question asked was a simple one. Raymond Sanchez is a real person. Raymond Sanchez will remember the beeping watch. He used to ride around in the car with me quite a bit. And yes, the beeping watch was something he definitely paid attention to. There were other people around me. I don't want to go listing off a bunch of other names and stuff. Raymond is noted in my stuff about the International Space Station. But the beeping watch was there, and it was known by several people and several things. And it wasn't something where we sat there and said, "Aha, this is a magical device," and it is. No, it was the other way around. We just started realizing that, hey, this thing has the oddest timing to it. It really does that quite annoyingly. Why the heck doesn't that damn watch shut up? How can it be a half hour later when I swear it was just a minute or so? And why is the sound coming from this end of the room this time, and we heard it at that end of the room that time? Stuff like that was quite common around this watch. Somehow it was a ventriloquist watch, and it beeped. It lets you know in beeps. 1 or 2 beeps. But when you start opening yourself up to the spiritual realm, you start noticing stuff like this. And this is where your psychiatrists and doctors make a really big mistake. They follow the lead of the hierarchy, which is to start calling you crazy. Really, why are you crazy? You may have just heard something that is of vital information to the human race. Yeah, it's the extreme. Yes, it's the extreme. But nonetheless, when you think about earthquakes and storms and snowstorms and car accidents and Grandpa having a heart attack and all the millions upon millions of things that could be coming across, it is of importance to that particular person or their lives or the lives around them. It starts putting a little bit of perspective on what you shut off. Okay. Your psychiatrist, you're having a bad day. Okay, well, here I am. This is January 7th. It's a few days short of my birthday. My birthday is kind of the tail end of the lousy events. And for those of you, after this, I'll tell the story about the suicide on my birthday. I look for signs. I've seen signs. I watched them, and like I said, feeling bad is a normal part of everyday routine of life. This is January 7th, and I know in another week or so I'm going to be out of that holiday slump that is about the only way for me to look at it and call it. Okay. Your television advertising and stuff like that. In so many cases, they want you to run out and go take a happy drug. Excuse me? Why not just live with it and deal with it? Understand what it is. You don't have to roll around in the mud with a pain and enjoy it like a pig in a pig wallow. But on the other hand, I know what happens. So every year. I mean, my mother gave me away, just before, let's see what, I would turn 3 years old after Christmas. So yeah, 2 years of age, I spent my 2-year-old birthday, my 2-year-old Christmas with a family that, outright had stated they hated me. I was a piece of trash to them. Okay? I'm 60 years old in a couple of days. It means 58 years I've been putting up with this kind of stuff. I know what I go through. So I don't run off and go take a happy pill. I might sit back, I might stay away from other people because I know I'm in a sour mood, and I know I don't really have a whole lot of any kind of fond memories anywhere to think about during this part of the year. I have an awful lot of people that are jumping up and down and excited about talking to family, okay? So I know to stay out of their way. It's not a big deal. Now, that's where being intelligent comes in. That's where thinking for yourself comes in. And more importantly, that's where staying away from the corporate you are a slave mentality, you will do what you're told and shut up otherwise. And the doctor's all telling you, here, take this drug. I mean, Pink Floyd, comfortably numb. You might feel a little pinprick. You might feel sick for a second, but you'll be okay. You can get on with the show. Yeah. That's what people do. You kill yourselves for something you don't want, and then you're going to sit here and try and argue that I'm not right about what I'm saying here, where you're worshiping a murder weapon, unbeknownst to you, without thinking about it. It's a murder weapon. You are doing things and actions that are in direct contradiction to what that religion is all about. So you are literally being, the opposite. If you're supposed to be living your religion, you're the opposite. You're the devil of your religion. Excuse me for throwing that silly in there. But that's what I'm saying. You just, you spend so much time having somebody else tell you what you're supposed to do and where you're going to do it and how you're going to do it. So, the beeping watch was a quickie for me where, I don't know, 2 or 3 years there was just beeping watch around. People knew about it. People heard it. People understood the game. And it was never more than a game. Any more than my playing the 23 game with Anton Wilson's list of what the number 23 is. It's so repetitive that I had to finally sit there and chalk it up to just the fact that there's only 10 numbers in the whole freaking number system. Of course, they're going to come around and around and around. I mean, go buy yourself a random number generator, pair of dice. Go for it. See how many times you can't make the same numbers come up. But, yeah. Life goes on. It can be interesting and fun, It's just, I got a few more seconds here. I can finalize this out. So, the thing is that, you got to let the spirits talk to you. And if, again, back to the abuser, shh, don't tell anybody, this is our little secret. If the corporations, the churches, or the governments are your abuser, what are they going to do? Shh, don't tell anybody. Yeah. They don't want you to tell anybody that if you think for yourself, you're a smarter person. You're more capable of taking care of your ass, too.